with Politics Society for their annual debate. And the question that we're debating today is whether the UK should be rejoining the EU. So we're going to go interview some of the people and also some people on the panel. So stick around. We're here with the president and the vice president of Politics Society. So we've got Arsima and Dawood. Dawood, why don't you take us through the structure of today and how everything is going to pan out?
Yeah, so we've got two teams. We've got Labour, we've got Conservative. We've got 3 people each. And effectively what's going to happen is we've got opening speakers. They're going to speak for about 5 to 10 minutes each. Then we'll have bottles, which will be 5 to 10 minutes, and then closing arguments. After that, we're going to have it open to the floor, meaning that anyone in the audience can ask a question, can bring about their own arguments. And what can also happen is whilst they're arguing with the audience, they're going to be arguing with each other. And that's when the main debate actually starts.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And why do you guys do this? Like, what is your motivation behind holding these annual debates?
So normally they are hosted by the Debate Society, but we decided to take it on this year. We think it's really important to really engage students into politics. Topical questions like the EU, COVID, these are all questions that are still affecting us today and problems that are still being talked about in Parliament. So it is important for students to be engaged in it. It's often easy to disregard politics as a whole. Everyone's just focusing on their own lives. Everyone's just focusing on their academics, etc., etc. But yeah, we just want to make politics fun and engaging and just keep everyone involved and keep everyone in the loop. That's what.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're currently here with Meredith. All right. And how are you feeling about today and what are your opinions on the topic?
Well, I'm really curious. The reason I came is because I'm from the US and I'm really into politics over there. This is pretty new to me, so I kind of have an unbiased perspective. I'm just curious to hear what each of the parties have to say.
Perfect. I mean, that is the whole point of coming to these debates. And we will catch up with you after the debate has happened to see what your opinion.
Just a quick question. So having read the argument, what's your initial view? Even if you come from a foreign perspective and you have no idea what's going on, well, generally, if someone was to ask you, should the UK rejoin the EU, what would your view be?
If the UK should rejoin the EU? Well, I don't know much about that, but I usually think that nations working together is better rather than being isolated.
Fair. If Luca put up a good enough argument, you may think the opposite after this debate. We'll have a look. We'll come back to you towards the end.
See, yeah. We'll see.
All right. So currently we're here with
Sean.
All right.
So this is Sean Kennedy, who was the president of NUCA last year. And now he has come to watch his old society battle against the Labour Society, which is something of an age-old sort of conflict between the two. So having sat here, having obviously, sort of seen the atmosphere, seen the arguments or whatever, how are you feeling? Was NUCA strong today?
Well, I'm certainly more glad to be on this side instead of being up there. It's a very nerve-wracking experience. But I think the guys have got some strong arguments that I'm not going to spoil. You guys can wait and see. But I would say the arguments are all on our side. I think we've got a very good chance of putting in a good performance tonight.
Do you think you're likely at all to change your opinion after the debate?
I'll be honest, very highly unlikely. Very highly unlikely I'll change my opinion. Maybe they'll put out some fantastic argument I've never heard before, but I doubt it, yeah.
And if they do so, would you genuinely change your opinion? So right now, you're the opinion that we should not rejoin, ever, at any cost. And there's no circumstance in which whatever the argument they pull out of their mouth, you will not change your mind.
Well, it's very abstract, Of course, you could think of infinite arguments, and maybe there is a very good argument that hasn't been thought of before, but of all the arguments that I know about, I don't find any of them very persuasive.
Very interesting. Thank you for your time.
Right, Labour, we just interviewed NUCA, and now we want to interview you. So, how are you guys feeling? What's the atmosphere like? Do you have any tricks up your sleeve that NUCA is not expecting?
I'm sure we have a couple of curveballs we can throw them, but otherwise, I think we're all feeling pretty confident.
Now, given the fact that this is a very well-traversed, sort of debate, we were talking about this since 2015, 2016 times. Do you really think that UK can pull up an argument that they've not already thought of?
Sorry, could you rephrase? Sorry.
The fact that this is a very well-traversed argument, that we've been talking about this for over a decade now. Do you think that there's any new arguments that come to play that you've not heard before and will actually put you off balance?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure the opposition will come up with a lot of really smart and insightful arguments. I just think that we are pretty confident we can, tackle whatever comes our way.
If you look at the track record, it's simple. We've won 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So I think if we're going off record, we'll characterize that as confidence and not cockiness. Right.
The Labour Party had 2%.
So I'm here with Nicholas. He's the opener to the Labour side of the debate. Nick, what did you think about it? I thought it was a good debate. I think Labour won very well, being quiet, and I think that this debate was a combination of hard work, research, and the team art. We prepared hours for this, guys. So I think that this is a good result for yesterday, which is unrelated. I completely agree. I think Labour has some good points. I will say, Labour definitely were more unified with Conservatives. I mean, they had a civil war going on in the big debate, and a lot of them were chatting about their party, which was an ideal. But at the same time, just see that Conservative parties, had some really good points. Where do you think they went wrong?
Lots of my claims, like,
Well, obviously, the civil war didn't help. Personally, since I've been researching this for a while, I think that points were absolutely awful. And I think if there were more time, I could counter, for example, the EU budget claims. It's 100 billion a year, guys. Not to make it for the states revisiting all issues. But yeah, you know what? I'll give it to Sean. Shout out to the president of public speaking. He asked me a very tough first question. Stumbling over my words a bit, got through it. But yeah, I'll give it to them. They had some good points, but I'm happy with the result today. Brilliant.
Okay, so we're back with Meredith. I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this debate, and what is your opinion right now? Let's stand for you.
okay, so I thought both sides make really good points. Everyone seemed really excited and passionate, so I love to see that.
Yeah.
I would say my opinion in the aftermath is pretty much the same. I agree more with the Labour that Brexit is bad, that Britain should reach.
Did you know it?
Actually, because
Do you guys like-
historically, isolation, it is not a good pattern, not a state to make where the country favors. It seems like having an alliance is more strong economically. And I feel like the Labour side made more sense about why it was so economically detrimental and why it would be better.
But would you say both sides had around equally good points, or would you say the Labour was clearly the winner?
I would say Labour was clearly the winner to me. They had more overall good points in my opinion.
Cool.
What did you guys think about that debate, and what are your opinions now? Whose side are you on?
I really enjoyed the debate, even though I voted for the Conservatives because I thought they had a more convincing argument. I am on the Labour side. I do think if we rejoin the EU, it would just be more beneficial for us.
Cool. And you?
I also really enjoyed the debate. It's my first time coming to one of these, but it was really close, and I did lean more towards Labour's arguments. I feel like they had a lot more charisma in the way that they were speaking. But yeah, the Conservatives responded really well to some of the questions that were asked, and so I think it was really close.
Hi guys, it's the Vice President Asima.
And Dawood present.
We just want to say a big thank you for everyone who came, everyone who asked the question, and who really engaged themselves with the argument. It was quite interesting. What do you think again?
I think it was really good. I mean, I think the Conservatives generally had better points. They had better analytical sort of thought process. They showed their thinking. At the same time, Labour, they were more unified. I mean, they had a civil war with the Conservatives literally mid-debate, which isn't ideal, wasn't helping their case at all. But Labour definitely had the passion, they had the unity, and I think that's what, at the end of the day, had them, win. I think personally, I'm against rejoining the EU. Now, that bit at any cost, if it was a case of rejoining the EU or getting nuked, the idea would rejoin the EU. But generally speaking, I'm against rejoining. I don't think, after having had this debate, my view has changed, although interesting points were mentioned.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think there was a lot of internal disagreement on the Conservative side, which ultimately led to their downfall, which led to Labour loaning. A lot of them, they had charismatic personalities and they really got their points across clearly and managed to really engage the audience. So I think that's what ultimately led to their win. As for me, in terms of the motion, I do disagree with the motion. I don't think there's a point of rejoining the EU, especially because it was such a political turmoil to just get out of it in the beginning. But yeah, once again, we just want to say thank you very much for this.
We absolutely love you guys. You were really energetic. You all voted. You all participating very strongly, and we're excited to see you at our next event.
Bye, guys.